Ford's in a bit of a weird state at the moment. Sales are dwindling, the brand doesn't really have an identity, and no one knows what's next for the Blue Oval. The Mk1 Focus could well be the last car that Ford can truly be proud of, not to mention the definition of future classic. Let's take this lovely example for a drive, and I'll explain why. After its slightly dowdy late 80s, early 90s era that gave us horrors like the Mark V Escort, Ford had finally got itself back on track come the mid-90s. There was the sparkling Mondeo, there was the stylish Cat and the sleek Cougar Coupe. Ford was heading in an all-new direction, but there was still one glaring omission from its lineup: a family hatchback that was actually any good. The Escort had improved dramatically into the 5.5 and then the Mark VI, but still, it wasn't competing with the Golf and the Astra. So Ford undertook Project C170, an all-new family car that wouldn't even wear the Escort name, so tarnished was it by how bad the Mark V was. No, Ford's new family car would reflect the kind of direction the company was going in. Focus. Ford had Focus, so it was going to produce one. And come Geneva 1998, it broke cover, the all-new Ford Focus. And instantly it made an impression. It showed that Ford had intent. This was a cracking looking car, sporting what Ford called its new edge design, which focused largely on triangles, like we'd seen with the Cat and the Cougar. It's definitely radical, but it's not radical in the same sense that the Sierra was. It's not alienating people. It just looks modern, it looks sharp and forward thinking. And no matter where you look on this car, from the shape of the windows to the rear lights and the grille, those triangles appear everywhere, but without feeling excessive. And to my eye at least, as someone born in the same year as the Mk1 Focus, I think it's aged better than I have, and there was some function to that form as well. Inside, the interior was designed to be as spacious as possible, but with as small of a footprint as possible. So you've got this really high roof, which me, with 6 foot tall, has got loads of headroom. You've got these tall and wide doors, which makes entry and exiting far easier. And you've got raised seats, particularly in the back, to give people a good view out and to prevent car sickness. Little things like that make it more practical and more usable. And even as a hatchback variant, the boot is enormous, leave alone when you got to the later estate model. Now, the Mondeo had set the precedent for Ford's new direction. Cars that were practical and usable and family friendly, but that also drove well. And once again, the late great Richard Parry Jones was brought in to make sure the Focus drove like it looked. And he developed a whole new design of rear suspension, known as Ford's Control Blade, which had the packaging of a trailing arm, but double wishbone geometry. It cost Ford tens of millions to develop. And what was the result? Well, an absolute gem of a chassis. The power steering is so nicely weighted, gives you a really good idea which way the front end is going. It's not too heavy or too light, actually, it's nicely set up. And the way this thing tackles corners is remarkable. It's so balanced and composed. As an enthusiast, you can fling it around, chuck it into a corner, confident you're going to come out okay on the other side. The way this thing balances itself through a nice dip like this, throw it in, and the way it grips is incredible. This would leave a Mark V Escort for dead. It just feels so set up. Gear change nice and notchy, chuck it in and you've got grip from the front, rotation from the back, and it feels so planted and comfortable and easy at doing this. Inspires confidence instantly, like a good front-wheel drive chassis should, and you can well trace the bloodlines to that Mk1 Mondeo that I drove recently. You can see that Parry Jones genius flows throughout the whole bloodline of Fords at this point. It feels great. For a standard family hatchback, it's an ingenious bit of chassis work, this. And it's small wonder that control blade rear suspension became the blueprint. Soon companies like Volkswagen and Vauxhall had to develop something similar to come close to the cornering and comfort and yet packaging that Ford had managed. A family car built to be driven by enthusiasts. It's brilliant, and it shows how capable Ford were when they focused and weren't building dowdy, outdated dross like the Mark V Escort. It's brilliant, this. And in true Ford tradition, the Focus offered a myriad of choices. Petrol engines ranging from 1.4 up to the 1.6 in this car, right up to 2 litres. You could have diesels, you could get it as a 3 or a 5-door hatch, an estate, the slightly odd saloon variant, but some people did choose it. There were sporty variants, luxury variants, something for everyone. That has always been Ford's magic, as much appeal as possible for as many people as possible. Not to mention it was well priced, quite often cheaper than its equivalent Vauxhall or Volkswagen rivals. It was well built with fantastic sturdy quality. Even this car we're driving today, 100,000 miles on the clock near enough, and everything about it is solid and sturdy. There's no squeaks, there's no rattles, everything fits perfectly, and it's all a quality product. I go so far as to say this is on par with a Mark IV Golf, and when you think how solidly built that car is, that's high praise. And not only was it practical and well priced and with a massive range of choices and great to drive, but crucially, at a time when it mattered more than ever, the Focus was safe, achieving 4 out of 5 Euro NCAP safety stars when it was crash tested. In fact, it took until the Renault Laguna getting 5 out of 5 stars to beat the Focus's safety rating. In 1999, the Focus won European Car of the Year, to the surprise of pretty much nobody. And over 98 and the following year, it won over 60 Car of the Year awards and various accolades from European and American car journalists. Ford had smashed it out of the park with the Focus. And if you thought the Mondeo was good, if anything, this was even better. This was easily the best car in class. It trumped any of its family hatchback rivals, and it took a good 5 or 6 years for anything to really match Focus's enormous breadth of capabilities, and to do it for the same kind of price and in the same package. And even today, this is a gem. It still drives like a pretty much brand new car. It's refined, it's well built, it still handles brilliantly. And if truth be told, I think the looks have aged well too. It doesn't look like the near 30-year-old design it is. No, the Focus was proof that when Ford put it all into a project and created something that they were determined to be the best, it paid off, because this is still a fabulous thing. And yes, they did the warm ST170 and the ultra hot RS model that we've covered before, but even as a standard 1.6, your normal family hatchback spec like this one, you can still see how brilliant the Focus is. You can make a good argument that no one needs anything more than a Mark 1 Focus. Need a bit more space? Get the estate model. Bit more economy? Get yourself a diesel. Want a bit more performance? Get an ST or an RS. If you need more than a Ford Focus, you're wrong. This is absolutely brilliant, and if truth be told, I find myself rather wanting one. Sadly though, I can't have this one. This beautiful example that the guys from Space Saver Cars have lent to us is fabulous. I'd highly encourage you, go and check out their channel. There will be stuff with this coming, and I'm going to be keen to see it, because preserving this possible high point full stop of Ford is well worth doing in my book. Shows quite what Ford are capable of when they focus. Sorry. But what do you think? Is the Mark 1 Focus ultimate blue oval? Is it the last truly great Ford? Would you choose it over any of its rivals? Because I know I certainly would. Make sure to comment down below, let us know about that. And in the meantime, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Classics World for 2 new videos and a podcast every single week. And if you fancy some more Focus action, do go and check out our ST170 and Mark 1 Focus RS road tests. But while you do that, I'm going to have some fun. Ha ha!